Hi, boys and girls. Okay, we are going to practice our sight words today. Let me make my face a little bit smaller and bring it up here so that we can see all of our words. There we go. Okay, so we have 6 new sight words to learn this week, and we are going to practice reading them now. So I'll say it, and then I want you to say it out loud at wherever you're at, okay? Hour. So if you guys could follow my little mouse, see my little arrow, follow my mouse. I'll say it, then you say it. And I'll go like this when I want to hear it, okay? I know I can't really hear it, but let's just pretend that you're saying it loud enough that I can hear you say it. Hour. Today. She. Good job. Her. Now. And would. Now this is like, would you like to play with me? This doesn't mean like a piece of wood. Okay, let's try and read them a little bit faster. So I'll say it, then you say it. Ready? Hour. Today. She. Her. Your turn. Now. Would. Okay, let's do them one more time. Ready? Now we're going to go out of order a little bit. Now, would, her, follow my mouse, she, today, hour. Good, great job. Okay. So this week in our story, A Musical Day, we are focusing on sequence of events. So it's really important, boys and girls, and it's a good skill to learn how to put the events that happen in a story, or anything. It's important to give an order. So if somebody were to ask you, how do you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? You don't tell them to spread the peanut butter first, right? You would have to tell them first you need a knife. Next, you need 2 slices of bread, and you would keep telling them the steps in order, right? Otherwise, they're not going to make the peanut butter and jelly sandwich correctly. It's going to be all mixed up. So the same thing happens when you're retelling a story. When you're telling about the sequence of events, it's really important, and it helps you remember your story a lot better whenever you use words like first, next, then, and last. When you use words like that and you put the events that happened in the story in order, it helps us to remember what the story is about, the characters, the setting, and it helps us remember the main idea of the whole story too. So we're going to practice this together, and I want you to watch me. We're going to go through, and I'm going to be flip-flopping back and forth a little bit between the story, I have it pulled up on my computer, and this flow chart. This is called a flow chart. It's called a flow chart because you see the arrows, and one event is going to flow to the next. So in this top box, we're going to start with first. We're going to go to our story and write down what happened first. Now, you're not going to write it yet. You're going to practice this tomorrow in your reader's notebook pages that are on Seesaw. But we're going to do it together today, and I want you to just follow along and watch how I do it, so that way tomorrow when it's your turn, you'll know what to do. Okay, so we're going to do the first, what happened first in the story. Now, whenever you're giving just the main points of the story, you don't want to give too many details because then your order of events gets really, really, really long and it's hard to follow. So we're just going to give the 4 main events that happen in our story, A Musical Day. So let's take a look. Okay, let's go to our story. So let's take a look at what happens very first. Let's read a couple pages. So Mom and Dad will go on a trip today. Our Aunt Viv will be with us. Tom and I are glad. So let's take those 2 pages and kind of summarize them. So what I would do, we're going to flip back, and we would say, first, let me make my words a little bit smaller. We won't be able to fit all of that. That's a little bit too small. Okay, so first, Mom and Dad go on a trip. Aunt Viv comes to babysit. Okay, that's our first main event. So we know that some of the main characters right there, and we know what's going on, and we know the setting of the story, okay? So now let's go back to our story, and let's take a look at what comes next. We get a big hug from Aunt Viv. She is lots of fun. We clap, hop, and sing. So what happens next? After Aunt Viv arrives, they begin to play and clap, hop, and sing. So I'm going to use the word next. That's a great transition word to use when you're doing order of events. So next, Aunt Viv and the kids start to clap, hop, and sing. See how I'm going right in order and the story is making sense. If you don't put your events in order, then your story isn't going to make sense. Okay, let's take a look at the next part of our story. Glenn and Meg get here. Now Aunt Viv has a plan. Okay, so I am going to put we're going to use the word then. So we did first, next, and now we're going to use then. So after the kids start playing, they have some friends arrive. So we're going to say then. Let's double check on their names. Their names are Glenn and Meg. So then Glenn and Meg arrive. Let's make that a little bit smaller so it fits better into our box. There we go. Okay, and now we're going to say what happens last, towards the end of the story. Let's keep going. She has a big bag. A lot can fit in her bag. What is in it? Would you kids like to play music? Aunt Viv said. Yes, we yell. Meg and I make guitars to pluck. Tom and Glenn make drums to tap. Tom, Glenn, Meg, and I are a band. So and it says, it is fun to make music with Aunt Viv. And that's the end of our story. So for last, so we used first, next, then, and last. And that's how you order your events. So at the bottom here, we are going to type last, Aunt Viv. Let's see. So last, the kids make a band and play music. Okay, so let's take a look at our order of events and let's make sure it makes sense and let's make sure it goes in order. Oops, sorry about that, boys and girls. Let's try that again. Okay, here we go. So first, Mom and Dad go on a trip. Aunt Viv comes to babysit. Next, Aunt Viv and the kids start to clap, hop, and sing. Then, Glenn and Meg arrive. Last, the kids make a band and play music. See how that flows so nicely? It goes with the order of events and it all makes sense. So tomorrow you are going to work on one of these flow charts in your Reader's Notebook pages. And then you're going to go ahead and go to Seesaw right now and we're going to take a look at our Your Turn questions and then you're going to answer them yourself. So let's take a look at the Your Turn questions. So number 1, what happens at the beginning of the story? There's the order of events again. We just talked about what happens at the beginning. Number 2, what do the children do after Aunt Viv gets there? We talked about that too. And number 3, what did the children do that you also like to do? So this is a personal question. What is something that the kids did in the story that you like to do too? Maybe you like to have your aunt or your uncle or grandparents come over and spend time with you if your parents go somewhere. Maybe you also like to play with music. Maybe you like to do arts and crafts. So tell me, share with me on Seesaw something that you like to do that the children in the story also did, and then tell me why you like it. You can either type the answers to the Your Turn questions, or you can record yourself answering them. Just let me know each answer, okay? Have a great day, boys and girls.